All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to Apostle Elders in New York, GMS. And salutation to y'all around the world that's teaching the truth. My name is Maya Ka'al Nagab with Chicago branch of GMS. All right, so you got these the three stooges from the EX-Ministries. All right. And the rest of the El Tahar called Wacky Christians, man. TD Jakes, all of them, man. Geno Jennings, and it's like when it comes to history, man. These these Wacky Christians, man. It's like they had glaucoma or something. Glaucoma basically like this disease, like you got a blind, like you could see, but it's like a certain spot in your eye. It may be small, it may be large, black dot. You can't see much. And when it comes to history of the so-called Negroes, who are the tribe of Judah here in the United States, along with their Southern Kingdom brethren, Benjamin, so-called West Indians, and Levy, so-called Haitians. All right, so this is not talking about the Southern Kingdom, but also the indigenous people in Americas. They're part of the Northern Kingdom, even from the so-called Puerto Ricans all the way down to his so-called Mexicans. We're all brothers. All right. And and so it seems like they got like glaucoma, man. Like they just don't look past some of them don't look past history, man. Slavery, hell, even some of them they can pass the damn civil rights era, man. So-called civil rights era, man. And that was a damn fraud, And if they do go back, if they do go slave, they'll say we're a bunch of Africans. And it's funny how 2/3 of our people, so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, and Esau, they all like to say we're Africans and we're the sons of Ham. But you can't go in the scripture and show me which sons of Ham descend from, which prophecy is there Ham going to slavery, being called bad words and being last on the bottom and everything, man. You can't prove it. You cannot prove it. All right. Now, what's how this guy talked about this guy ignorance, man. G. Lewis. All right.
All these groups' beliefs, including some Old Testament beliefs, all kind of combine, just lacking the discipline and, of course, the morality of the Bible. So,
Pastor G, can we do this? Can we give him a little history behind?
All right. I'm gonna just start a little bit. Trying to go into what he said. Hold on. Okay.
Also serves as our youth minister at Academy Believers Council. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing fine.
I'm gonna show you how ignorant this guy is.
Then we have Carmina Barnett, who is a gospel music media mogul. She is a disc jockey, and she knows everybody, and she kind of does her thing on the radio. How you doing, Carmina?
I am good.
All right, so this is the exposition. This is our second episode, and actually today we will be dealing with the Black Hebrew Israelites. I don't think a day goes by when I don't get at least 100 in.
All right, we're Israelites or Hebrew Israelites, not Black Hebrew. Like black is not a nationality. All right, he's just doing it to vilify us. All right, when you hear the word black, you think of something malicious, evil.
Inquiries via email or text or whatever, especially from pastors.
And nobody's black like the color of his shirts and their pants, man. We're all brown-skinned people. You got two groups of people on earth. You got the brown-skinned people, you got the red people. Our brown-skinned people are Israelites and the rest of the nations. All right, and you got the red people, so-called white man. All right, because his skin is red because his translucent skin, his blood and flesh show. Give him the name Edom, out of one red. Esau, Ashawah, wastes heat. Was wasted his skin pigmentation, man. All right.
Pastors that are concerned about this movement. I was gonna say new movement, but of course it's not new. But this movement of the Black Hebrews, whose beliefs are a spinoff of the Nation of Islam, Nations of Gods and Earths, the Rastafarians. Y'all have heard me talk about these groups, these people groups in the Truth Behind Hip Hop series. Basically, it's all these groups' beliefs, including some.
Spin a Nation of Islam, this that, because people viewed Nation of Islam as extremists. All right, so Nation of Islam known for calling the so-called white man the devil, which he is a so-called white man, the devil, man. But when you hear Islam, people automatically think about 9/11, the World Trade Towers. All right. Terrorists, you've seen the movies like Back to the Future, all right, so all Islamic terrorists and stuff, so he probably trying to try to say that. So, in the people's minds, they think of Islam, think of terrorists, and you tag that along with, Hebrew Israelites. Everybody think Hebrew Israelites is terrorists, so that's what he might be trying to do that, Well, anyway, just so ignorant this guy is, man. Talking about our history. Our history started way before. Our history started when at least I say about over 3 to 5,000 years. Between 3 to 5,000 years when you read Genesis 32:28, when our forefather Jacob, he wrestled an angel. He was renamed Israel, man. All right, then you go to Genesis 35:10. He said, "What many nations come up out of you, man?" All right, so each 12 tribes is a nation with by itself, man. All right, each 12 tribes of Israel. All right, which are your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, but just so ignorant this guy don't know about history, man.
Old Testament beliefs all kind of combined, just lacking the discipline and, of course, the morality.
Lacking the discipline, but he don't do diligent research
of the Bible.
And watch her research right here.
Pastor G, can we do this? Can we give them a little history behind it?
Okay.
So let's do that. I want to read this because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Now, toward the end of the 19th century, a man named Frank Cherry claimed to receive a vision through which God told him to present the message that African Americans are the true descendants of the biblical Hebrews. Now, this eventually resulted in the establishment of the Church of the Living God, the pillar ground of truth for all nations, which was in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that was around 1886. Now, another significant figure arose during this time, which was William S. Crowdy. And it was during this era of lynching and the rise of Jim Crow that the prophet William Crowdy claimed to receive a revelation that African Americans were the descendants of the ancient Israelites. Now, after receiving this revelation, Crowley founded the Church of God and Saints of Christ Church, and that was about 1896, and that was in Kansas. Now, with that claim, the 10 lost tribes of Israel were the ancestors of black people. So that's kind of technical. Now, Jay Brian, I want you.
Now, see, it starts before our history started, before us being a slavery, man. All right, we always been there. It's like we was in Spain, Portugal. We was in Africa, the west coast of Africa, called Negro land, and we was over here in the Americas, man. All right, those who descendants of the so-called Native Americans, tribe of Gad, so-called Seminoles, Reuben, and all the way down all the way down to Chile. All right, the rest of the tribes, man. All right, so we always been here, man. Just the people just omit us from history, man. Particularly the so-called white man, Esau. All right, and that's why he beat it out of us, man, during slavery colonization times, man. They had some Jake that just willingly gave in to Caesar Borgia, man. All right, the American lights, they did have some free Israelites that came over here. They followed the American philosophy bullshit, man. They sold out. So that's that's two main factors how people forget, man. Their heritage is mainly the curse according to Deuteronomy 28 verse 29, and also Jeremiah 17 verse 4. All right. So, but this guy just ignorant, man. He don't know history. She don't know history. Her ass shouldn't even be up there. Her ass be at home sitting her ass down. All right. But I'm gonna show you now. You read Matthew 24 in your house. I said, flee into the mountains. He talking about Africa. All right. Mountains he talking about is over there in North Africa. The brother Kazak had did a video about that. All right. Mountain stretch from all the way from I think it started around about, if I'm not mistaken, around about Tunis to stretch out to Mauritania. All right. So, anyway, I'm gonna read this. This is it says in the year 65 BC, and this book from Babylon to Timbuktu. All right. Now a few things, about Rudolph Windsor. All right. Two things going on about the so-called white man being Japhet, and the philosophers being the Cushites being Israelites, but the rest of the stuff he's on point, man. All right. And he had knowledge of the scriptures, but not as we do now. We're more knowledgeable of the scriptures, but the rest of the thing he be on point, man. Be on history, man. And this these wacky Christians, man, they don't do their research, man. They think we just make stuff up. Like this bald head if I'm not mistaken, the bald head guy in Three Stooges named Curly. So the guy Curly, he just run his mouth without showing anything, man, proving anything, man. All right. It was said, First Thessalonians chapter 5:21, your house shall say, will prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. You got to prove things, man. You can't go there and blow up your damn mouth, So, all right. So it says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter during the period of military governors of Palestine. All right, that's Israel. All right, okay, and many outrages and atrocities were committed against the rest of the people during the period from Pompey to Julius. It had been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, right, the Southern Kingdom. You also had a little bit of Northern Kingdom among them, but majority was Southern Kingdom. All right, it says fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. It said a slave market was full of black Jewish slaves. All right. It says, all right. So that's what happened, man. All right, and that's how our people got spread out through, through Africa. Okay. Where's that? What scripture said? All right. So it says right here. It says Deuteronomy 28 verse 65 says, and among the nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole thy foot have rest. Talking about slavery. All right, but Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of mind. All right, and thy light shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall none have assurance of thy life. Right, that's why I pray that God willing, most high willing. All right, make a day, but it right here says among the nation thou shalt find no ease. All right. All right, so then right here, when Romans chased us out of there, let me get this Leviticus. All right, so it says Leviticus 26:14, but if you know heart unto me, and I'll do my commandments. All right. And if you shall despise my statute, or if your soul abhor my judgment, so that you will not do all my commandments, but you break my covenant. All right, this is Leviticus 26:14-15. It says right here, Leviticus 26:10, I also will do unto you, I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, burning, ague, and all right, thou shalt consume the ass and cause sorrow your heart, and you shall sow your seed in vain, your enemies shall eat you. But just basically right here it says the Most High said what? Verse 17, all right. But the point is, Most High gonna do these things, did these things, so I answer they violate the law, statute. And it said, I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when none pursueth. All right. So, there you go, man. All right. So, all right. I'm trying to look what it says. Where is scripture at? All right. But they pretty much covered that. The Romans run us out of there, man. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to get what it said. Fleece. What it says. I look for the scripture, but I can't find it right now. All right, but but the basically point of the Most High. That's why the Most High, the Romans run up out of here, man, because run up out of homeland Israel because we disobey his laws, statute, commandments. So just basically the point. All right, but you go to page 90. All right, it says, and they always, talking about Jake, TD Jakes talking about he a Gentile. That recent video when he's complaining, he was complaining about us. All right, and that's what they like to think, that you so-called Negroes was just a bunch of monkeys swinging from the tree, and Africa. That's not that's not true. It says right here, get right here. It says right here, 9, it said, by what factors can we explain the emergence of black Hebrew hegemony and leadership over the distant tribes? The answer is simple. The Jews came into the western Sudan from northern and eastern Africa as a result of a chain of commercial and persecuted migrations. All right, I just read it. Just read that book in scripture. It says the Jews had settled among the most civilized people throughout the ages. They adopted new methods for other people and left their material, education, moral imprint among the people whom they resided. For many centuries, the Hebrews had to employ great physical and psychological initiative. They could not afford to be complacent or apathetic. They were hated, so apathy could mean cultural stagnation or death. All right. And that's what happened to us today, man. We got bugged out. All right. He's all brainwashed of that plantation Christianity. All right. It said the Jews imported into the western part of Africa a superior material, education, moral culture. Soon after 300 AD, this culture advancement was not due to seed until the ascendancy of Muhammad leader Musa Kuna Musa of Mali in 1312. In the 3rd and 4th century, the Africans on the west coast did not possess the cultural superiority of the African on the north and east coast. All right, it says the black Jews had advantage over the African tribes. It said they carried their culture, history, laws, written records with them. They ensure a constant precedent for development of higher social organization because of the stability of the black Jewish culture. The Jews were not absorbed into the autonomous population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. All right, because your nationality go by your father. All right. Go on to Numbers chapter 1 verse 1 through 18. Said the Jews made use of every opportunity. They were industrious, skillful people in the Jewish Canaan states were found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretary, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art, goldsmiths, leather workers, potters, armorers, saddlers, blacksmiths, agriculturalists, and etc. Man. All right, and so that's why the so-called white man had you so-called Negroes to come over here to the United States, man, to do those various trades, man. All right, he didn't just snatch up a bunch of dumb, based on the term they call a bunch of dumb Negroes. All right, he snatched up people who knew a trade and knew what they was doing, man. All right, because if not, they couldn't have built America. You know, point blank, man. You know, point blank. All right, so let me read you something right here. All right, so I'm gonna end this right now, so I'm gonna make part 2. Shalom.